Guys, this is Hank. It is November the 29th, 0004. And I just wanted to come on to say, uh, wow, I reached 200,000 views, which I thought was really cool. And that sort of slipped in overnight a couple days ago, so I thought that was really nice. And, you know, I keep trying to figure out how to adjust the sound. Now I notice on this video, notice on my normal posts when I read my poems and rhymes, and even if I'm talking to someone on Skype, when I'm having a regular conversation with them, the recording is fine. Like you'll see this one, it's absolutely fine. I'm using the same devices. Now, what's really interesting is once I induce the person and they're now in the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension or the 11th dimension or the 18th dimension, that's when there is some static and something going on. And because I kept trying to figure out why is the sound doing this. Now, another thing that is really interesting is I have videos where I've recorded them and I've listened to them after we finished and we've done them via Skype, and there's a little bit after I get them induced of a little bit of static, but when I upload them to YouTube, then there's a lot of static. Now sometimes I think that there is blatant interruption on the part of the powers that be when particular subject matters are spoken about, and that seems pretty obvious or what have you. But I had this person raw something, and then they sent me this message, and it was just a huge, when are you going to stop posting, get your sound together, and don't you do sound checks, and why don't you stop doing sessions until you can get your, you got, Ra, whoever you were, Ra, I'm never going to stop doing sessions, and you know, if you don't like what you hear here, then go somewhere else and just stay there. And, because at first they start off, saying, uh, why don't I not do them until I can get it together? Do I do sound checks? And then afterwards they go, oh, but your information was really good. Thank you. Do you know what I'm saying? What the fuck is that all about? Uh, and then I had another person the other day. I did a session with Krista Riza, and it wasn't a full session, and it was off the cuff. And once again, once she got induced, all of a sudden here comes all the static and all the noise. I really think because we're speaking into another dimension, that's why it's doing that. If you ever listen to someone, like they have these devices that they're starting to listening to people who are dead or whatever, and there's all that crackling noise or whatever, I'm just coming to realize that's exactly what it is. When I do normal sessions with someone who's in the same room with me and I have a camera on them, there's no problem whatsoever. But somehow, because when I'm doing it, first of all, via Skype, and then, which is remote, and then they're going into these higher dimensions or whatever. I know people channel, but this is different when I would say it's the same as someone channeling, except for when I do these sessions, I induce the person and then they begin to channel. That's if they let the other person speak to them, or they speak to what they're experiencing or what they're seeing. But I really and honestly think that it has something to do with the Skype being doing it remotely, and those things are really things to consider, because I've been trying everything to see to produce a better quality sound whenever I post my Skype um, inductions. Now I don't know anyone else that's doing these inductions via Skype. Everyone thinks, oh my God, you can't do it, you're not supposed to do it, or whatever, and I already know how I feel about all that. So I'm not doing quantum healing hypnosis therapy via or technique via Skype. I'm doing my guided visualizations, and I know a lot of different techniques that get me there. So what's really interesting that's coming up is Kevin Moore of the Kevin Moore Show in the UK. he and I got together recently. You probably saw the session that we did, and it was really good. But we're going to do another session, a full session, because sometimes I like to give people an opportunity to see if I can induce them and to really, especially when they're really psychic or what have you, when they all of a sudden are seeing, like with Krista Riser, she can see the Orion Council and, and communicate with them and literally see them and see who she's been speaking through or to all this time. And the same as with I'm sorry, with Kevin Moore. He is a channeler as well, and he had an opportunity to meet his higher self, actually, with whom that's who he's been channeling. And so it's been really pretty awesome. So we're going to do an interview about my the work that I'm doing, and then we're actually going to do an induction. It should be really interesting to see how the sound comes out on that, because I will be recording it on my side, and he's going to be recording it on his side as well. I'm not exactly sure if that has anything to do with it, but I just wanted to say that um, when I do normal sessions and someone is here with me in the same room, I don't have any problem. When I'm carrying on a regular conversation and I'm speaking to them and I'm recording a Skype session, I have no problem whatsoever. But as soon as they get induced, then all of a sudden here's the crackling and the interference. And you know, it's really interesting that I get people like that Ra whoever person, and I'm not talking about Crystal Riser's Ra. This was some Ra D'Angelo or Ra something like that. Um, you know, if you're a sound technician or if you have some real skills and you absolutely know what's going on, I mean, there's 1,000+ subscribers, which I'm extremely grateful for, getting to that 1,000. But if someone knows that could help me, I'll give you a free session. Just connect with me via Skype, hank.jones.ii, and say, Hank, this is what you do. You adjust this and you adjust this or whatever to help me. I so would appreciate, some positive feedback or whatever, or someone who would attempt to help, because I've tried everything or whatever. And, these sessions for you are for free, and I'm not getting ready to spend a bunch of money. I have, mortgage and car payments and insurance and dogs and dog bills, and you know what I mean? So this is what you get. This is all you're going to be able to get. So unless I start getting more sessions, and and I even charge, I'm so inexpensive, and I have 26 years of experience doing this, plus 3 more years. That's like the other day, some Gaggy, something like that, left something. About Krista's session. Oh, if you were just a little bit more adept at asking questions or whatever, just spam, smacking insults, and then go, oh, but it was interesting and the information was good. I get attacked a lot, and now since my phone number, I've been a licensed massage therapist for 7 years, and my phone number has been the same. Now I'm getting phone calls, crank calls of people, you know, because I'm posting these videos. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm posting these sessions. I mean, people can be so nasty, and you know. But I can tell you right now, my skin is thicker than it probably seems, and I'm not going to stop. I will just keep going, and just like what I did with Gaggy, and just like what I'll probably do with Raw, unless because I can see, I went through it to see if they're subscribed, and they're subscribed. I go to their page, I'm like, they just subscribed, and like Raw, I don't think they had any subscribers, any content, any picture, anything. So it's just this person or whatever making this comment. But you guys need to think a little bit before you start attacking someone or whatever, because what's the point of that? Do you think, oh, that's really going to help, or you just put your 2 cents in to try and make someone feel bad about what they're doing? But I don't feel bad about what I'm doing, and I have attempted to try and fix the sound thing, but I don't think that I can fix it. You know what I mean? And so it is what it is. So everyone who listens in, I apologize for the crackly sound, but I've already given you free inductions. You do someone on Skype and you see how it goes and see if it works. and if there it'll be smooth with no interference or whatever, or you bring up the subject matters which I know the powers that be don't like have being discussed, and see how clear and smooth it's going to come across. You guys think past your nose sometimes before you attack people, because, well, just do it. I mean, come on. Or give me a hand, help me out, and say, hey, Hank, this is what you should do. How much better would that be? How much better would that be? You know, as opposed to, well, let's see if I can hurt his feelings by really saying something nasty to him. But then, it's a backhanded compliment. You know, you could be better, but why don't you do this? When he's, well, if I could just pull it up, it's something to the effect of, don't even post anything at all until you get it together. And I was like, you wish. I'm going to continue to keep posting. I surely will, and nothing's going to stop me unless, well, it's not. They told me I'm going to be around till like 2050. I'll be 82 years old in 2050. Jeez. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Love and light. Namaste.